Hello everyone, let's look at hyperbola part 2. But before you even watch this video, make sure that you have watched part 1. Also, do not forget to like, share, subscribe. You can even comment if you want to. So let's look at this question here. The function g of x is equal to k over x plus r plus d has the following properties. Range, y is an element of all real numbers, but y is not equal to -2. So remember, from the range of hyperbola, you can always read your horizontal asymptote. So this -2 here is your horizontal asymptote. We are also told that the graph is passing through the point which is 1 and the -8. That is your x and y. And then we are also told that the graph cuts the y-axis at y is equal to -4. With this one, you need to remember that at the y-cut or at the y-intercept, x is always equal to 0. So here we have a point. So this point is 0 and -4. Your x is 0 and then your y is -4. Now, the first question here, we are required to determine the value of K, R, and D. Now, if you check here, let's start with D. So D represent your horizontal asymptote. And we can read the horizontal asymptote from the range. So that means we do have the value of D. The value of D is equal to -2. So if the value of D is equal to -2, our equation can be written as g of x is equal to k over x plus r minus 2. Now, we need to find the value of k as well as the value of r. So there are two values that we are looking for. Fortunately enough, we do have 2 points. So we have 1 and -8. We also have 0 and -4. Let's start with 1 and -8. So at 1 and -8, our y is -8 is equal to k over our x is 1 and then plus r minus 2. We can simplify this equation, transpose -2, so -8 plus 2, it is -6 is equal to k over 1 plus r. Simplify further by cross multiplying. This is over 1. So 1 multiplied by k is k. And then 1 multiplied by -6, it will be -6. -6 multiplied by r, it is -6r. And then from this, we can have our equation number 1. So we can also create equation number 2 using our y-intercept. So equation number 2, we can use the point 0 and -4. So if we use 0 and -4, we are going to have -4 is equal to k over our x is 0 plus r and then -2. Transpose -2, we are going to have -4 plus 2, which is -2 is equal to k over 0 plus r, it is r. Cross multiply, therefore we have our k is equal to -2r. This is our equation number 2. And then from here, we can sub equation number 2 into 1. Sub 2 into 1. Now, where we see k, we are going to replace k with -2r. So we are going to have -2r is equal to -6 minus 6r. And then we transpose -6r, take it to the left. And then we are going to have -2r plus 6r, which is +4r, is equal to -6. and then we divide on both sides by 4. So we are going to get our r as minus 3 over 2. Now, we do have the value of d. We do have the value of r. Now, we need to find the value of k. We can substitute our r into equation number 2. So our k is equal to minus 2 multiplied by negative 3 over 2. So when we calculate this, we are going to get our k as 3. So k is equal to 3. So therefore, our equation can be written as g of x is equal to 3 over, we have x minus 3 over 2, and then plus, it's not plus, but it's minus, so minus 2. So that is our g of x. So this question in the exam went around 6 marks. So you must be able to find values of k, r, and d. Let's move to question number 2. We are done with question number 1. Let's move to question number 2. Now, determine the coordinates of the x-intercept of G and sketch the graph of G. So now, x-intercept, for x-intercept, we let g of x equal to 0. We let y equal to 0. So now we are going to have 0 is equal to 3 over x minus 3 over 2, and then minus 2. Transpose 2. So if I transpose 2, I'm going to have 2 is equal to 3 over x minus 3 over 2. Now, we can cross multiply, or we can always interchange the 2. These 2, you can always interchange them. So if we interchange, we are going to have x minus 3 over 2 is equal to 3 over 2. And then transpose 3 over 2, I'm going to have x is equal to 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2. So 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2, which is the same as x is equal to 3. Now, if we write it in coordinate form, 3, y is 0. So that is our x-intercept. And sketch the graph. So we are also required to sketch the graph of G. Now, here is our graph. We have x-axis. We also have y-axis. So we were given the range. So we do have our horizontal asymptote. So our horizontal asymptote, it is y is equal to minus 2. We also calculated the value of r. So we do have our vertical asymptote, which is 3 over 2, 1,5. So here is our x is equal to 3 over 2 as our vertical asymptote. So we calculated our x-intercept. Positive 3 is here. So we have our positive 3 as our x-intercept. We were given our y-intercept as minus 4. So here is our y-intercept at minus 4. So our graph will look like this. Here is our hyperbola. So let me extend here a little bit. Okay, so this is our hyperbola. So it is in the first and third quadrant, since our A, or in this case our K, is positive. So this is our hyperbola. Now let's move to question number 3. Now determine the domain of g of x plus 5. Now this plus 5 here represent the vertical shift. The vertical shift will never affect the domain of the original parabola. So it will only affect the range. So that means our domain will remain as, domain here will be x is an element of all real numbers, but x is never equal to our vertical asymptote, and our vertical asymptote is 3/2. So this plus 5 has nothing to do with the domain of hyperbola. So it will remain as x is an element of all real numbers, but x is never equal to 3/2. It will only affect the range. Now, this one here, we are looking for the domain of g of x plus 3. Domain of g of x plus 3. With this one, this is a horizontal shift. So this one is a horizontal shift. So the graph has moved 3 units to the left. So if it's moved 3 units to the left, that means even our asymptote will move by 3 units to the left. So we need to accommodate that. So our domain will be now, x is an element of all real numbers, but x is never equal to. So let's shift our asymptote to the left. So we are going to say 1,5, which is the same as 3/2. When we move to the left, we just say -3, and then we get negative 1,5. So which is negative 3/2. So it's -3/2, because this asymptote here will move by 3 units to the left. So it will move to negative 3/2. So our domain will be x is an element of all real numbers, but x is never equal to negative 3/2. And then last question on this one. For which values of x is 3/x minus 3/2 is greater than 2? So now if you look at this equation that is given here, it can be written as 3/x minus 3/2 minus 2 is greater or equal to 0. And then this part here represent your equation of g. So basically this question is g of x is greater or equal to 0. Now we are looking for values of x where g of x is greater or equal to 0. So let's check from the graph. Now here is our graph. So here at 0, okay, here is 0. Now greater than 0 is the part that appears above this ruler. So the graph is greater than 0 here. Let me highlight. Here is the part of the graph that is greater than 0. This part here it is the one that is above 0 now. So that means your answer, it is only this portion here. The values of x above 0, it is only this portion. So your answer for the last question will be x is between 3 and 3/2. So if you check here, at 3/2, I did not put or equal to because we have asymptotes. So our graph will never reach 3/2. So it is not included, but 3 is included because the question is greater or equal to. So the final answer is x is between 3/2 and 3. Let me move to the next question. Question number 2. The function g of x is equal to a over x plus p plus q has the following properties. We are given domain. So from the domain, we can easily read our vertical asymptote. So we already know that our vertical asymptote is -2. We are also given the equation of axis of symmetry. So this is axis of symmetry that has a positive slope. We are told that the function is increasing for x is an element of all real numbers, but x is not equal to 2. So if the function is increasing, that means our a is less than 0. So if I were to draw the graph, I already know that it will be in the second quadrant as well as the fourth quadrant, since our function is increasing. Now, determine the values of p and q. So let me start with p. So to find the value of p, we need to sort this first. We solve for this. So we know that x plus p is equal to 0. So x is equal to minus p. And then we are given the x value at the vertical asymptote. We can read it from our domain. So that -2 is our vertical asymptote. So -2 is equal to minus p. So therefore, p is equal to +2. The value of p is +2. Now, to find the value of q, we can always substitute our vertical asymptote in the equation of symmetry line. So y is equal to -2 plus 6. So we are going to get y is equal to +4. Therefore, this +4 here is your horizontal asymptote. So the value of q is equal to 4. Fortunate enough, with the horizontal asymptote, we take it as it is. Now, question number 2. Draw a rough sketch of G. Clearly indicate the asymptote if there is any. Now, to draw this graph here, we are drawing a rough sketch. We have x-axis, we also have y-axis. Now, we do have our horizontal asymptote. So, we have y is equal to 4. We do have our vertical asymptote. So, it is x is equal to -2. Now, we are told that our graph is increasing. So, it is in the second quadrant as well as the fourth quadrant. This is our rough sketch. So, unfortunately, because we do not have the value of A, the exact value of A, we cannot calculate the y-intercept as well as the x-intercept.